Hello, everyone. Welcome to another session of Lunch and Learn. So we've been doing a couple of sessions on App Studio, and today we're going to talk about data rules. Data rules are nothing but they're like these powerful tools that create the data-driven behavior, such as changing a color, disabling a field, or setting its default value. Data rules are pretty much similar to what we had on the classic version, wherein we can put in some condition and like control how the field's color is changed or some setting that you want changed and things like that. So that part of it is similar to what we had on classic. It's just that the way that you create a data rule is probably different on the App Studio. So the way you access your data rule is here on the left-hand side. The third one would be your data rule. And then you can click on that. You can click on the plus icon here, which would create your new data rule. And then you would give in the name of the data rule, the description. Just instead of writing all this on code, we have it here in App Studio. So you would give your name, the data rule's name, and a brief description of what it's doing. And the most important one here would be your conditions and your actions. This is what drives your data rule. Let's talk about conditions first. We can create multiple conditions just by giving the and the or operators, similar to how we would have written on the code. And once these conditions are met, then down below you have your set of actions that you can define, and those would be processed. So initially, while setting up this header here, you give your action data view, that is which data view your action is going to be performed on. And then you can give in all your conditions. In conditions, you have either you can give like a no condition. So down below in the screenshot, we can see that it doesn't have a condition. So it simply goes on to the actions without any conditions. Or you can just give in your own conditions by clicking on this arrow here, and then you would get like an add condition, and you can keep adding on to it. Once you create your condition, you give in which data view that you're pulling in your field from. And this example, I've taken it from the order screen. So what I was trying to do was from the order head data view, I'm trying to see if the PO number is equal to, you can select all this and it gives you a bunch of things like equals, not equals, greater than, and all of that. And then here in your value field, you can either select it to be a value that you want to give in, or in turn, you can select this to be a field. So if it's like a value, you just give what value it's going to be. So in this case, my what I'm trying to say is the order head.po number is equal to blank value. If not, I could have selected it to be like a field. And then once you select field here on the screenshot, we can see that further it's going to give you two more options, like which field you want this value to be equal to. So then you can select something else from order head. Maybe you're selecting something else, and then the field name you can select here. So these two options you have, whether you can do it like from a value directly or from in turn comparing this field to some other field on your data view. And then you can give in multiple conditions, just clicking on these dots here, and then it gives you like an add condition, and you can give in any number of conditions that you want. And here we see like we have this little and thing. I think that comes up by default. Once you click on that and, it turns to or. So you can have in your and conditions or your or conditions here. So in this case, what I was trying to do is my order head.po num, if at all it is equal to a blank value, and if at all my customer name is equal to Dalton, then what I was trying to do is try to like highlight that field here. In my example, initially I selected a different customer, and you can see that there's nothing that has changed on our screen. In my second screenshot, I had actually selected this customer here, and then we can see how, because the PO value is blank, I think I set it to become like an error. So that's why it gave me this red box here. And once I fill some value in and tab out of it, this color just changes back to the regular white color. So it's just like you're trying to highlight some field or trying to error out some field, things like that. You can use your data rule here. Then you can also do like a bunch of group conditions. The and or operators work pretty much the same like in a regular condition. Group conditions are nothing but like in the code, when we are trying to put in some conditions by putting them inside the parentheses, it's just like that. So you may want to select like different groups. This whole group is like one condition thing, and then you can select like a new group, and you can keep adding to that. Once you once you start adding the condition, then the next option it gives you is you can add it to a group. So that way you can add like multiple groups over here and multiple conditions inside each group. In this case, I think what I was trying to do was, if at all my customer 9 is nothing but the customer Dalton that I was selecting. So if at all this is equals to this, then I think I was trying to highlight the request date. If at all it is equal to your order date, then you want it to be highlighted. So that's what I did here in my next example. I set my ship by date to my order date, and that's when my field was highlighted. And since the customer criteria also was met, so that's why my field got highlighted here. This way you can give in like any number of conditions based on what you're trying to do. And the next thing would be your actions. Actions is where like you actually set something that has to happen once your conditions are met. So the data rules cause a change to display on the user interface. Typically, these actions run when one or more conditions on the data rules are met. Like if we see here in my screenshot over here, the initial first thing that I did was setting my PO number to be errored out. So that's why we had that red box over there. And then in my second example, what I had done was the ship date I was trying to highlight it. So that's why we got that blue box over here, the color over here on the box. In actions, you have a bunch of different actions that Epicor has specified. So you can either change the setting style, you can set like a value, you can probably like try to disable a field, you can try to do like a hiding the whole page. If you don't want a page to be displayed, you can try to do that when your conditions are met. In turn, each of these have some different things. Like when you try to do a setting style, you can either do it like a disable, you can do your field to become like invisible, read only, and all of these, whatever options that Epicor has given us. You can't add to these, but you can select either of these from the options that we have here. We have just like 4 colors that Epicor has given us. So error would be like your red coloring that would come up, warning would be orange, okay green, and highlight would be blue. These are the only colors. I've had others asking me like, can we change the colors? We can't really do that because these are the only ones that Epicor has given us. I've had questions before wherein if can we set like a different color? Really, we can't do that. These are the only options that Epicor has given us, and we have to select from this if you're trying to highlight something or error out something. Then you also have like you can set the whole row. Like when your condition is met, you can select setting style.row status and like just make the whole row instead of a single field to the color that you want. You can also like disable fields if you think like some condition is met and you want to disable some field. You want to make a field read only, select that action, and then that field, like here I selected the PO num to be disabled, and I can see that that is what happened here. Pretty much this is it. Data rules are simple, just like how we did on classic version. Put in a condition and put in what action has to happen, and it's right there. The only thing is you would have to select from the options that were given. And if we have to move out of it, then I would suggest like just putting in your own code over there, like calling a function or something like that. We can manipulate it. Thank you, everyone.